It's a great honor and a privilege to introduce Mottel Weinberg. We're here in Hanof in Yerushalayim, and Mottel, you from Antwerp, and you're here in Yerushalayim for a family simcha. So it's such an honor and a privilege to be with you this evening. And if you could tell us a little bit about your family and your history.
Okay. So, you're interested to know the backstory from concerning the World War. So my parents, ze gaan vroeger, they had lived in Sants, New Sants, Sants is in Nove Sants. It is where the Rebbe, the Dilraim, was living. So, my father, he came from a small town, Amsterdam, Mishana. He married there in Sants, and he was living in Sants. I am born in Krakow. It was special circumstances. The bris milah was also celebrated in Kruger, and after the bris we went back to Sants.
And what year were you born? In what year?
In what year? In 39. Just 3 months before the outbreaking from the war in Poland. So we went back to Sants. When 1st September 39, the German invaded Poland, and after a few days they started to throw bombs, planes on Sants and surroundings. It was just Friday evening, and was a very big panic. So my father, it was only 3 months, he took me in his bekishe. Bekishe is a Hasidic coat, and he decided it's better to leave Sants because it was bombed. And my mother, she had her parents in Sants. The parents had a very big shop in the centrum, in the big place. And my mother asked her father what he thinks is better, to stay or to leave. So the father, my grandfather answered, look, I cannot move from here. I have still children, I have a big shop. Maybe the war will do, maybe stay 1 or 2 weeks and we will finish. You have a husband, you make what your husband decide. So I had a sister then also. A sister was elder from me, 3 years. So then they fled. It was Friday evening, Shabbos. They fled to the station, the railway station. It was very big crowd. Jeden going, they fled. But the German had already bombed also the railways. So the train was split in two, and my mother was in one train and my father another train. It was a very big chaos. So my father and me, I think also my sister, they had success to come to Lemberg, and my mother came there after a few days because there was not, the train was, everything was destroyed, destroyed. There in Lemberg, it was the Yom Tovim Zeit, was Yom Noruim, there was the huge, big island from Galicia, Rebels, Rabunim, the flat, there were the Minyonim, there were, okay, was Yom Tov, Shun, Yom Kippur, Sikhs. And we stayed there about 10 months. Weinberg in this time was already occupied by the Russian. Like, you know, before, a few weeks before the war, was Molotov,
Van Ribbentrop,
the minister from Russia, and Ribbentrop, to make an agreement, a secret non-aggression pact, so that Germany will take one part and Russia the other part. So when the Russians invaded Poland, was not as war. They said that they come to protect Poland. They want to protect. They don't want it. So after 10 months, the Russians came with a proposition. The Yidden, they go into there. You can stay there. You can stay there in Weinberg, all the rights, but you have to accept a Russian passport, or it's a Russian citizen. Okay, it was obviously because they won't have, that was not occupied, that was a Russian citizen there. Mostly from the Yidden, they understand it's not a good business to be a Russian, so they don't want. So if they don't want, so the Russian deported them to deep in Russia. So one day they come with trucks to give few days, but they were not brutal, but they said they have to come 2-3 hours to take all the belongings and bring to trucks and bring to trains. These I don't just know the details, but we were sent to Siberia. So there were some stations that I remember what my parents told me. What I remember was Bodaibo, Irkutsk. It was Otto Center. There, my father, he was very strong, but he came from a small town, from a rural town to an agricultural town. He was very strong, Hasidic, but he was very strong. So they give him a job. If he want to have bread, he had to make wood
to chop.
Yeah, chop the
trees.
The big trees. So he made this. But he was sick afterwards, because after the war he was very sick. Okay, make it, was very strong, he made it. And then they put us in an other town. There was no medicament, no enough food. They give bread, they give maybe one egg, like this. Was correct, but everything was missing. We had not any chance to have something more. Okay, there were people there in Russia. They had bring with them some belongings, maybe jewels or maybe sometimes alcohol. They could make a little small business to have some few money to survive. It was also a black market for people. But okay, my father was not belonging to this group. He was working in the wood. What was the answers in these few years that we were there? There were a lot of people died from hunger, from sickness. There was not antibiotic at this time. It was not the elementary medics that that we need. There was a lot of people that died. I too was also not in a good situation. And then as I was a child, then I broke once my leg, so they put me in the hospital and they gave me up because there was no medic. Baruch Hashem, habe ich geholfen, that we survive, yeah? But I can tell you, on the end from the war, maybe the last 1 year or like this, we were sent to Uzbekistan. We were in Samarkand. Also in Tashkent. On the end from the war, we went settled in Samarkand. In Samarkand, as it is Muslim people living there, it is mostly Muslim. So Stalin at this time was not arguing with them, that they could have all the liberties from religion expression that the Jewish don't have in other parts of the Russian. But there, Stalin was clever enough that it's better not to start with the Muslim. So it was a certain free for the Jewish. So I went to a cheder. I was a cheder, yeah. But okay, that was also a stiebel, besmellish was there. Okay, it was too small to attend it, but in the cheder I was, yes, the cheder. No, I had the occasion to be in Samarkand after the war, I mean before, about 10 years ago, to visit the cave from my grandfather, that he was lifted there at the end from the war. And I can say everything was restoration from all the quorum. Everything is, we can see there. That is what's concerning what I remember from Russia.
Can I ask, Mottel, what is your first recollection? What is the first thing you remember as what do you remember your first memories?
My first, when look, I will tell you one thing. I have years and years and years every day thinking about the war, not for the Russian, but for the general. Why the war came? How it came to such a big catastrophe? I had big questions how the German Jewish Kehille, before the war, that were lawyers, doctors, and they were very big people there, scientists, that they did not react in a proper way when the Nazis come to the power. Why it was not possible to see that that's not coming to such a scale. I don't know if there was no room to, let me see, when the Hitler came to the power before, to discuss with him, to make it political, that is not coming to such a dramatic situation. And with other countries, maybe with the States, the United States, and the Kingdom, was how it is coming to such a big brutality that is good for in the Middle Ages. I could not understand why it's coming to this scale. Why especially the Jewish community in Germany in the years between 30 and 33 before Hitler came to, and they think that he's coming, why they don't have a dialogue to start to see maybe what is, and then to see maybe then we could see if there's nothing to do, then to take the steps or to fret or to make to ask not a power like the states to intervene in time. I don't understand how it's come to this. Why nobody was able to see, to discuss, to try to make it not so brutal, because that is something nobody can understand. What the German state with laws, everything they make by law, they kill by law. Everything was law. They make not like the Cossack. They come and they make everything law. That is the drama here. The drama. They take the law. They take the literature. They take the vocabulary. The German and they write in books. Wo is halbe Jude, Viertel Jude. That I understand how it came to this level. And every day I was thinking what we could do in this. Why, if there was no place for dialogue, that we had to maybe to take other steps, not to be Rashlanim. Felsbituchon, not to be, to see the danger. We have to act. We don't have to wait. Maybe. This I don't understand this. I come to the conclusion that if you're going when they have they treat you, or you have to go towards him to try to, and also you have to make milchome, not to take care on only auto consideration. That cannot accept it. I mean, I know maybe there was nothing to do, maybe, but I can't realize it. So,
but there are many reasons. There are many reasons. Many try to go. There were many that tried to leave, and the British had the white paper, so they closed. You couldn't come to Eretz Yisrael because the British had the white paper. Then they had the Evian conference, where countries didn't want to accept Yidden, and America made it very hard to come in. Yeah. It was virtually impossible. You had to have people to sponsor, and even England, they would only take the kinder transport. It wasn't so simple, and there was no country to go to. There was no one really wanted us.
Yeah, but I think there was some action, but it was already late. The party, the Nazi party, they took all the steps in. From 1933, they begin to make laws against and laws, books into schools, and for the lawyers they could not work. They took them to license to make discrimination, open discrimination. But in 1933 you could make something against this. Why we had to wait till it will be worse?
So Mottel, can I tell you? They say in Telz, when the Germans came to Telz, people in Telz remembered when the First World War, when the Germans came in the First World War, which was only 20 years before, it was only less than 20 years before, and the Germans were actually very good to the Yidden in Tells. So they never dreamt, they never would have imagined that in 20 years how Germany could change. It's unimaginable. People could never ever have such a cultured nation could have turned. Nobody ever dreamt or could have even foreseen there would have been such a. It's so hard to even comprehend.
So you have to draw to conclusions from that we have not to wait still the Nazis or I mean anti-Semites, they will take the advantage, they will take initiative to make what they want to do. We have to see the facts on the front and to act, or if we cannot alone, we can ask other people to act together, not to wait. Maybe it will be a miracle. Okay, we wait on that miracle, but we don't have that power. We don't have the right to, when somebody is menacing us, to be quiet. So we can use this maybe for today, history from today, how we have to behave.
Well, now today, thank God, we have our own country, and we don't have to rely on. We can just rely on Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu, and then we have our own country. That we don't. It's so important that we have our own country, and look how many people in the world do not want us to have our own country.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. Now we have this rule. It is another challenge, but we have always to be vigilant, to be what is happening, because we are armed, the other are also armed. It is the strategy changed. You don't have any guarantee who will be the strongest. Then we need bituchon, because when you make action, we need bituchon. When we don't make action, it's difficult to say bituchon, because it is like rashlanut.
That's true. It's so, I'll just mention, it's so true what you're saying. Before the 6-Day War, or even in 48, when the Arab army said they're going to drive the Jews into the sea, we were by ourselves. Hashem, in His great mercy, saved us, but we were by ourselves. The world didn't come to our aid. America did send, and there were those that did send a little bit, but we were by ourselves. Today we see it in 67 as well. People thought it was going to be a total catastrophe, what was going to happen here, when they said we're going to drive the Jews into the sea. And we had the miracle, but it was with the hand of Hashem, who, no question. But now we have Iran. Iran, they said we want to destroy, and I think the lessons from history, when a nation says they want to destroy us, like Haman, we have to take them seriously. In Mein Kampf, Hitler wrote exactly what he wanted to do, and he did exactly what he had written. So when you have in Iran where they say we want to destroy, and now they want to sign these agreements to appease the Iranians where they have nuclear weapons, it's what you're saying is very, very, very important, and it's very. It's history. I
think we have not to provocate, but we have to take measures when somebody is menacing, treating us. We have to take it serious, and behold that we have learned from the history.
But Mottel, I want to ask you, what do you remember as a child in Tashkent, and what is your first memories? If you go back, what do you remember growing up?
I remember, yes, but I cannot say it was in Tashkent, but in Samarkand I remember more things, because I was all elder, so
Do you remember going to
I
Cairo?
remember I was had not no place. I was running after the mouse. The mouse. The house was no how do you say pavement. Was not stone.
It wasn't paved.
It was only earth. There was many holes. It was mice. So I was something like this. Then I break once I was going on the garbages from wood, and then I fell down. I break my leg. This thing, okay, but I cannot tell you. Okay, I remember, yes. Once I got the bread. We don't have. There was already Samarkand, but it was. I had done 5 years, 5 years, for 4 years, and the bread was hidden on an armoire, on the teva,
like a shelf.
Yeah, upstairs. Yes. So I have seen this. I want. So everything was rationed. So to give me sometimes bread. I had a stick bread that you see in the garbages in Bnei Brak after Shabbos or here. I never throw one stick bread. No, never. This time I had a small bread I was eating. I was at the door, and was just a Yid coming through. He took my bread from my. I was beginning to crying, to give me. He was making with clay, comment dire, with argile, earth, make a small pach. Yeah? And this put a paper from our newspaper, an old newspaper. Yeah, put on this, and when you have they make a noise. He gave me, so I was satisfied. So the hanger was so big. This bread, it was not it was small, tricken. It was comment tricken. Draw. It was all bread. It was the hungry was so big. Though. This I remember.
Were you always hungry? Were you always hungry? You were always hungry.
Yeah, I was also hungry. Yeah, but when this man took from my hand, I was crying. Yeah. So he gave me this. So then I was.
And you remember going?
I did not have play autoplay. I did not have the play what today. I was playing with mice. Afterwards, then yes, I make a small play. I took from you know, a spool where there is on this no, understand. So I put with a knife, and I take an elastic, and we make some like an automobile. We took from a fruit. Garin shazif.
The seeds.
Yeah. We put on the ground, and we make like this.
You scraped it.
Yeah, and to make a hole, and then we had a
whistle. Wow.
This to make myself. Yeah, that was no anything that you can buy. Everything was. It was first. You cannot look. When I think about this, for me, I don't have any trauma. No, But I was always thinking about even today, always, why, how, what I was doing. My mind changed always. When I was a small child, I was thinking, yes, I would go to kill Hitler, I could go to take and burn like this. I was a child. I was thinking that's my kind of to make me sure. Yes, till today I'm not afraid from going. I was enough dogs. I'm always. And I'm very not provocative, always good. But I never fled from a goal. I tell you why. When we come to Antwerp, from Poland, we came from Poland after the war.
When the war finished?
When the war finished, yeah, we had fled to, we came back to Krakow. Krakow was then safe for the Juden, because in other cities, the Polishmen, they killed the Juden to come back. In Krakow was a kibbutz Juden.
There was a group of Jews?
Yeah, we were.
You were about 5 or 6 years old?
Hmm?
You were 5 or 6 years old at this time? You were about 5 or 6 years old?
My father.
No, you were 5 or 6?
When I came back to Poland, then I had, it was 46.
46
I had about 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years.
years.
And you remember coming back?
I remember, yes. Yes, because I was sick then. My father TBC, tuberculosis. So my father came back. Then at this time was the joint, the American joint. Yeah, they give him papers to go to Switzerland. They paid also to be in Switzerland because at TBC it was this time it was very dangerous to be tuberculosis. No, and I had not felt I was a level better, so they sent me to Katowice. For Katowice, there was a big Jewish camp for boys and girls, and there I had some. They make me, comment dire, soigner. Soigner, comment on dit soigner? They give me the word. I was there. Yeah.
Medicines.
Yeah, I was there maybe 1 year.
Were you by yourself?
Huh?
Were you by yourself?
Yeah. But my parent, but my father was in Switzerland then, and my mother was in Krakow, with my sister, and also a sister from my father was there. So I was there because I was also sick. But it was not so terrible. I was there for a few months, maybe 1 year. And then the communists come to power in Poland, so we had to organize to be out of Poland. So then in 47 was, we fled from Poland. We took a car. It was my mother and me and my sister, so we fought. And we went to Szczecin. Szczecin was on the border from Poland and Czechoslovakia. It was the 1st of November. 1st of November, there is a fest, comment dire, the Catholics are celebrating in the Betagheim, in the cemetery, for the people that died, to make a special feast. First was of the top. In this day, the border was open, and we could go through. But if one man was there, his name was Nussen-Aron Wolf. He was living there, and he took us, me and my sister, by hand, like as it was his children. And then my mother, I don't know, just maybe she came, I don't know how, but she also came late. And then that was the first time that I have seen so many Talaisen, that there was a big shul, bought a big shul there in Szczecin. It was because in Samarkand, I was maybe there, but I didn't realize, maybe I see one, but see so much Talaisen was the first time. That was make me on me the
an impression.
Impression, yeah. And then in Szczecin, after the first of Szczecin in the side from Czechoslovakia, the police started to see who was, because it was after the Chag, after, so they have to see. So my mother, she went, because there was some control on the streets, we went to a cinema, to Kolnova, to fled there, so they don't come there. So and then we stayed there a few days in Szczecin, and then we fled. We went to we take the train. We take the train, and we went to Prague. Prague was then this time a place where from all the Guliot from after the war to come there. Prague was at this time still a free place. There was a lot of people that came to Antwerp, from Paris, from all Polish, from Hungary, came from the camps. That was the start. There was a place where somebody wanted to start his life. He came to Prague, Paris. So we were there in Prague a few days, and then I have seen the first time a tramway going. Yeah, in Krukas also was but there was in Prague was more. This was, and then we went from Prague. We went by train to Belgium on papers from tourist papers. So only for 3 months. When we went in Antwerp, so then we forgot to go back. So we stayed there, but my mother got sometimes visit from the police that she had to go back. So once I came home, and my mother was crying because she got a paper that she has that we have to. But afterwards, everything was settled. It was the central. It was the help to settle. I mean the administration, yes. And then I went to school there, yes, and then started for me a new life. Okay, I had to begin very late my first class. I had done about 8 years, so I began my first class, and then I had jumped some classes after. Right,
And can I just ask, Mottel, what happened to the family that stayed behind in Sons?
Look, I did not tell you the whole story, of course. When we went to Russia with us, so it was my father, my mother, my sister, me, was also a brother for my mother. It was a bucher, because the other brothers and sisters had a big family. There are many in Sons, because as I told you, my grandfather had a big shop, and nobody was thinking that this was a war, a final war. Most people was thinking 2-3 weeks, we finish, we come back. That was so. This brother, it was Schleune, his name. When the Russians take us to Siberia, they take him to the military. It was my mother's brother. He had 18 or 19 years, a bucher, they take him. In the beginning, my mother got some news from him, a card, and after a few months, little day was, no, we don't have anything. So that is my bond. The family, the parents of my mother, the remaining sons, brothers and sisters, to my grandfather, grandmother from my mother's side, one day the German came to take him to the cemetery and they shot them down. Shot them. Yeah. Not only them, they shot them to wall. One brother from my mother, a notable Judah was his name, Judah. A brother from my father. My father had also a few brothers and sisters that remained in Poland. So one brother was his name was Judah. When the German make empty the Jewish houses and they deported and they killed, he was there because he was alone. That he hid himself in a gag,
in the attic.
Yeah, attic there between. And once he had not nourture, not food, not drink. He drink from the water, from the raining water, yeah. And he became sick, but dysentery like this, and he went. He had to go to the toilet. He went down somewhere, and was a Jewish policeman catch him. What do you do here? Everybody is. And he called a German policeman, and they want to take to ask him, look, I cannot go. So he keep him on the place. So that's a Yehuda. We keep his Yehuda even today, Shmin Atzeres. Normally, because my father had a sister, she was married and she was in Bochnia. Bochnia was also a ghetto where she was there. And she sent a Polish man to take this Yehuda from there. So she sent a wagon with so the grass, comment dire, de l'herbe, teven, to take him, but he came, was so too late, he was already, so that is so another sister for my father, she was married, she was pregnant, Muberet. The German killed her. Then from all the family, there was only remaining life. So was one sister for my father, she came with us. So she was right. She was after the war. She married and she was living in Vienna. And one sister that remained in Poland, she was married with a Gerard Huset. And 2 weeks before the end of the war, his husband got somewhere. He was killed 2 weeks before the war was ended, and she came after the war to Eretz Yisrael with her daughter Hannah, and they lived in Haifa. So from all this family. And then my grandfather, they came to Russia. They passed away in Russia. So one has a caver in Samarkand. My grandfather, his name was so alter, but we had two grandmothers, one grandmother, grandmother, and one. They don't have. We don't. Yeah, they had a cable. They were hospitalized in a hospital, yes, in Russia. Was no nothing, but they passed away. They don't want to give the corpse. They don't want to give out. Only after a few days. So my father, he took two other young light, and they went in the night in the hospital. They took the girl, and they make some grave, put a desk, and to write his name in Bodaibo it was. Now the youths have been to keep it, but till today we cannot find. Was no shayach. It was no. That was total done. Let me see, to illustrate you, that was not so easy in Russia. My father told me that was typhus somewhere. I don't know if that's in Siberia, was in Bukhara, but it was 40 levias in one day. 40 levias from epidemia, yeah. And we also, I was also sick in this time, so I had big innocent that I was saved. Yeah, it was okay. Look, it is all what I heard. My father had more stories to tell you. Okay.
And Mottel, what message do you tell your grandchildren, and what message do you give over to your grandchildren?
My grandchildren?
What message? What advice and what message do you give?
Difficult to say a message. I say always my children, to my children. I've educated them. First of all, not provocate, not provocate. Not to play the bigger man. You have to understand, and the Goyim don't like us. But we have to be also strong with us. We don't have to give the Goy the opportunity to make what he wants with us. But we don't have to provocate them also. And when we are in Gulis, we have to accept to be a little more en abîme, profil de ton amour. Even when we are not to children with the God has their way. We have to be strong with us. I mean, to be a good model. And then, when we need to answer, when the guy makes us trouble, we have to answer him strong, but not to. That is our fault that they have. We don't have to give it them the opportunity to have to justify the evidence, and that is possible. My personally, look, sometimes I had Goyim, or Goy was I said, yeah, I know it will anti-Semite. You don't have to like me, like I can tell you. But I don't need you. You don't need me, so we are the same. Give me the hand. No, we have to say, you respect him. I know your education is like this, but I will be good in my place. I'm good. You don't have to make the same thing to me. I am not feeling more than you. No, I don't need. Artu b'chartuno, c'est mashu. According to Artu b'chartuno, is that we have a mission to make Ta'at mitzvahs, to make Tzon Hashem. not to be higher to the God. That's not all.
To be Ola Chol HaGoyim, to be a light.
No,
to be,
not like to go. We don't have. Look, the Eibishter makes a world. There are Chinese, Japanese, there are Yidden, there are Mongol, everything. It's not our business. We have to make, our mission is to make Shlichus Hashem, to be observing. And maybe, okay, even Baal Shem Tov said that a Yid, from a Yid, it says that somebody is not from, he has to be feeling guilty because why is not from? Well, maybe you don't give him enough kiruv. Maybe you don't respect him. Maybe therefore he is. That way we have to be ourselves, not to be because we have the mitzvah to be higher. We don't need to be higher. Michael Travis. אני לא צריך את זה. אני עושה רצון השם. לא, I wish to feed the world. He make the world. He make the Chinese. He make this. Shlichim to be Shayoluma is okay. It's not my business. I'm not going in this higher sphere. This way, I think the best way not to be impose our superiority on the God. Why need it? I don't need it. I don't. What is even between Yidden? One is a goes to Guan and the other Lamid Amur. So the goes to Guan when he's a nivus, he's not feeling higher than that. He know better Gemur, know better poskim, okay. But when he's make a nivus, he don't think that he's higher than, because maybe the Amur says autonomous, or he had not the opportunity to learn what he learns. Maybe what he learns, the alibis, maybe he's higher than his goyness. No, I mean it is only a mushel. Yeah, I mean not to be to feel and to let feel to auto I am higher than, and that go when he feel this, but in the dialogue from the Gestapo, Himmler, he says das Erwählt des Volkes, his book. They had something was disturbing them. They didn't know. We don't need it. Maybe I don't need a diploma. I did a diploma. No, we make them mitzvahs. No. I don't need the recognition that we have to have. How to begin is for me obligation to make and that we are Yidden, I'm a Segulu, that means. That is what I give from this out.
And you've instilled these values into your children. You've instilled these values into your children. You've instilled these values with your children.
Well, I know my children not to be provocating, not to be also between two Yidden, not only to be some activism, but nothing to do with concurrence, with to make it's called Kindersuffering. Kindersuffering is good, but not to make this in a provocative way.
Wow, so good. I just want to thank you. Mottel, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. I think what you epitomize the word modest, to be modest. I think that is to be tsanua, to be modest.
I think that's the best
and
way.
I think that is what you are and what you've instilled in your children, your grandchildren, who I have the great zchut to know, not only as patients, but I know as friends as well. And that's what you've instilled into your family, to be basically modest and to be Ola Chol HaGoyim, which Hashem wants us to be.
Yeah, Kol Goy means not that. I say it not. The Kol Goy has a bit like Jewish.
Yeah. But to be an example, to be a
have
good
to make a bad blood, but not to be influenced about the Goyim. That well, but not to feel high, to say, yeah, Goyim.
Not to be superior, not to feel.
Not to make that he feels that I am superior. Even he is elevated like this, his education is like this. So, Boer, Shulsani Goy, Boer Shulsani Uwe, it is not in our hand even. As we are Eden, so we have to. Well, the Goy is also the well, it's not his fault, it's a Goy. Why is he born by Goy? It's not his fault. So, yes, all the way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate it, and you should only have mazel and bracha from your family and
thank you.
Stream, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you. It is all the I want to ask.
Wonderful.
I don't want to show.
Thank you very much, Mottel. I really appreciate it.
Okay.